Alright, so an oil change has just been done on this truck. 139147. And the current time, local, is 3:50 in the afternoon. 139203, title transferred to Jeremy. Well, I was going to wait until I got back to Texas to mess with this whole power doors thing, but my impatience got the better of me, and well, here you go. I managed to pick up a door-to-door wiring harness from yet another scrap yard around here. A pick and pull over in Sparks. So that was really cool. Only it took me about an hour to get it out of there because I was trying to find all the different connectors so I didn't have to cut anything, and I still had to cut some stuff anyway, so it's just ridiculous. But this went down behind the blower box, and this goes to the rear door, or the rear doors, or just the rear of the truck, really. It goes down along this deal here and goes to the back. I cut it right here so I'd have extra if I needed it. And with a little help from a friend of mine in Texas, I am slowly but surely figuring out what is needed to go between the doors and what is not. Like this section of wire right here goes to the rear speakers from this connector. This is the connector for all the speaker wires plus an ignition line that goes over to remote function activation module, which is basically a keyless entry receiver, which is cool. I didn't know that's what that was to begin with, but this also goes to that. It is the power door lock relay module, but is not necessary unless you have RKE, remote keyless entry. So I've got that, and I will have stock keyless entry now for this truck as soon as I get it all in there. But this pink wire, which is the ignition wire, is already in my truck and goes to a dome light control box. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit of splicing and a little bit of creative work, because also this orange line and this white line go to the dome lights in the doors, because power doors actually have dome lights in them, which is cool. And more LEDs for me to put in. But yeah, those go to this white harness, which is also in my truck and only has, how many wires? It doesn't have the full harness. This one and the black one will actually be pulled out of this harness and just dropped right into the new harness within this truck with no problem. The gray wire, on the other hand, is going to have to be spliced somewhere because it also goes down to the dome light control and RKE. Okay, works for me. I can splice that. That won't be too big of a deal because they are right next to each other on this little thing underneath the steering column. So that works. I can't think of anything else to say right now. I got a battery charging upstairs because both my batteries are dead now. I don't know how this one's living so long, but yeah, there's the white connector for my truck, and as you can see, it does not have all of the pins filled. It's missing 3 of them. 2 of them I'll be able to put over from this harness, and the 3rd one is unused, so that's where that's going. And then these go down to the doors, no problem. These go down to the driver door, no problem. This goes to the RKE module. This will mount next to this. And these 3 will go down to my convenience center underneath the dash, as well as this ground, because that connector is also already in this truck but is missing those 3 wires right there. Those 3 wires will go into that connector, and I'm probably just going to take the ground down to the dark green hole right there, because there's a ground on the far left, and that should work just great. I gotta be careful closing my doors because I just replaced those darn door switches and they're a pain. One of them's still broken, but that's okay, we'll get it. But that's what I'm working on right now. I went and pulled all the tape off of it, and I gotta retape it all back up once I figure out what I need and don't. These wires are gonna get replaced by what's already in the truck, basically by the same way. I'm just going to pull the pins out of this connector and replace them with the pins from this truck. So that won't be any issue at all. And I think the pink wire too. I'm just going to splice the two of them together somewhere. But, yeah. So we're working on this right now. And today being Thursday, I was probably planning on leaving tomorrow and heading back down south. So I'm going to see if maybe I can get this done today. I've got some straps from a certain prior job and tighten the doors down so they're not just sliding around back here. But I haven't even moved the truck since I got the doors, so kind of a useless point there, but yeah. And then I opened up my cruise control module. I mentioned it was supposedly not working by the seller. I opened it up and one of the springs had come loose, so I just took the top off of it, put the spring back in place, put the top back on it, and put it back together, and it looks like it should work. But again, I have not driven it since I got the doors and got back here to Jeremy's place. So there's that. Yeah, and this morning, that Blazer is no longer in my name. I gotta pull the plates off it before I take off, and I did an oil change on it yesterday, or maybe that was Tuesday. I don't remember now, but I did an oil change on it. It's mentioned on this video. I did that. Yeah. I already replaced the mirrors on the doors, so those are actually power mirrors, and I got my bubbles on them already, so that's great. They're adjusted right now to where I need them, but once I get all this power stuff in, I'll be able to adjust them automatically. Or electronically, I should say. And some little bird yesterday decided he was going to float all over my truck and just take a crap everywhere he landed. And it doesn't show now because I cleaned off this mirror already, but I would swear that that little bird's has exploded all over my mirror, and that did not make me very happy. I was like, if I was at home right now. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop blabbering here and actually get back to work. I've just had a whole hell of a lot to update here, but yeah. 7 hours and 15 seconds long. Hours, minutes, whatever. I'm gonna get back to dealing with stuff here. Oh, I guess there is one more thing to say. I picked up yet another radio, and now the one in the Blazer is properly mounted and looks proper. So we got 2 extra friggin' radios in here now. It's I've got 2 at the house, 2 here, and 2 in the trucks. It's like I have 6 of these friggin' radios now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them all. But anyway, yeah, fun, crazy, stupid stuff. And yeah, my truck is totally torn apart right now. The dash is down. But what's funny is I could put the key in and still listen to the radio as long as I keep that harness connected over there. Okay, I need to get back to work now. Well, you can ignore this pile over here. This is actually starting to look like a proper wiring harness again. This gray wire is going to be meeting up with the dome light control module. These 4 will be scrapped in favor of the rear panel speakers that are already in the truck. Where are you? I'm going to go ahead and leave that where it is and remount that up underneath the dash. And this plugs into that. And that's the remote function activation, RKE, whatever you want to call the thing. Here's this, and I'm going to pull these out and put them in the connector that's already under there. And this one's going to plug in where I said before. Here's the passenger door. There's the speakers and the 1 ignition wire. And here's the driver door and the dome light ends, which I'm going to go ahead and hook up to the splice packs that are already probably right down in here somewhere. And if not, then I'll just splice it myself. I can do that. Anyway, this thing's just about ready to be thrown in. Kind of hard to believe I'm actually doing this. So right now, I have this piece up here because I'm gonna make that as stock as possible. The wiring goes inside that deal all the way across, and then these little tabs hold that in place. And unfortunately, once I get this in here and swap over wiring, I'm not gonna have any sound system for a little while. Well, actually, yeah, I will. Because the rear door speakers, I keep calling them doors, but they're not. The rear panel speakers are still going to be active, but I won't have any front doors until I get the new panels on and everything and wire it up and everything. So, I need to stop talking so much and just do it. Play. Oh, you butt. I said play. Well, the wiring's all completed, and it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in Reno, Nevada. So, I've decided I'm just going to do this thing and finish it up. The wiring is all done. It's all here. The speakers are wired up for the rear, so I actually have sound back here. But only for the rear speakers at the moment, because obviously, there's nothing here. And this harness is completely useless now because it's not connected. Meanwhile, on the other side, up under here, we sort of spliced in the dome light wiring, and the module for the remote entry is up in there, along with the dome control systems and all the spliced wiring for that. And then you got the wiring for this too, right here. And of course the useless wiring harness, which I'm just leaving it all in here because this is just the easier way to go. And aside from that, like I said, I ripped out what wasn't needed, so there's just a whole bunch of that around here going on. And right now, I'm getting ready to put the power window motor, solenoid, everything assembly into this door. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully not bad. Well, we officially have a power right side. But unfortunately, just using the switch is not going to work right now because the wiring is required to go through the driver's side switch before it comes over to this side and goes to the black and or the brown and dark blue wires. So if you look at here, it tells you where on the connector these wires are coming from. So G and K. You look on here, and the connector has these marked as well. I can't see them on the viewfinder, but maybe you can. Ah, there we go. Okay, so G and K, blue and brown. So what I've done is I've just plugged something into the cigarette lighter and I'm just gonna hack it. Ow, and I just poked myself with a friggin' wire. Good job. So we're gonna go black to the brown, and we're gonna go red to the blue, and put this window up. How about that? Sweet! And actually, the power locks already work with the switch. Well, on this door, of course, because the other door hasn't been touched yet. Perfect. So that's working properly. Now, I have to go back to one of the salvage yards because they screwed up over at Reno. Okay, so I have a 2-door, right? This door came out of a 4-door truck. So of course all the wiring is completely different. And this is the manual door from the passenger side. Yeah. Notice there are 3 connectors here, plus the ones for the power mirror. Well, problem is, for one, power mirror only has 8 slots. The one for the power mirrors on that one has 10. And there's only 2 of these sticking out of this door. Because obviously, it doesn't need another set for the rear door. So I gotta go back to, I'm probably just gonna go over to Sparks and get what I need, because they'll let me go back there and I can get what I want easily. So I gotta clean up here, go do that, and we'll get it done. But it is nice to know that my work has not been in vain, because it is working. This, well, we'll test the power mirrors when we get to that point, but right now, the reason I just put the window up is because I am going to be taking off here. Oh, come here. Give me the key. Thank you. Alright. Now I need to grab some tools and we can lock her up. Hear your purr. Yeah. Just a random kitty cat came from across the street. And walking across the street towards me. Kind of worrisome. Not even paying attention to the traffic or anything. Just hanging out. Oh, she's a lover. Say hi to the camera. Wrap your tail around my face. Well, I'm gonna have to remember that I'm taking video with the phone, but there's the price and the total fill up and everything. Quiet your beeping self. Okay. And then 281.7 and 139212. That is the end of all of it. Just a reminder, in case you forget, you have a gas receipt for the Blazer on your phone. Get it off. And I don't mean in that way.